So, like I said in my G.I. Joe review, I'm going to start shifting over from doing a arc-by-arc schedule for these comic reviews, and get back to issue by issue since we're doing a daily upload schedule, and we can afford the space. But, so we're going to catch up with what I haven't reviewed yet of the current Transformers series number 13 through 15, which honestly, I don't really have much to say about them. I have a few notes, but really, all my criticisms are still in place. You know, there's a lot of dropping hints and dropping, like, ooh, it's a mystery, and then never getting back to those mysteries in a timely manner. For example, number 13 hints that Frenzy was behind the death of Brainstorm in issue number 13. Issue number 13, by the way, Brainstorm died in issue number 1. So, that really should have been solved in a more timely manner. And Frenzy, despite being name dropped in number 13, doesn't show up in 14 or 15, and that plot thread doesn't really go anywhere. So, all my criticisms are still in place. For the most part, 13 through 15, and this is part 1 through 3 of the arc Change in Your Nature. For the most part, number 13 through 15 is this weird, like, siege on this Titan with some members of the Rise that nobody really cares about, with some other characters just watching from the outside of the siege, and that's really all it is. It moves so slow. And that's literally all my notes I have for issue number 13. That Frenzy was name-dropped, and he's supposed to be a big deal, but we never see him again, and then this starts an arc that's mostly just a siege and a Titan. Number 14, the only thing I really have to say is about Starscream. Starscream seems written like a Starscream. I'm content with how Starscream is in this series so far. That's really all I have to say. Again, I feel like I repeat myself too much in these reviews, but all of my criticisms are still applied, and I don't want to repeat my same criticisms every single issue. Number 15. Number 15 actually has a cool moment where Megatron takes command of the Rise, so we're merging the Ascenticons and the Rise into one faction, which is something that you could assume was going to happen. The Rise clearly seemed to be like... The Decepticons clearly seemed to be a combination of the Ascenticons and the Rise, so we were probably going to see the Rise come into the fold at some point. But Megatron beats the crap out of Shockwave. And that whole scene I really liked. It's one of the first scenes I've truly liked in this series. Megatron being like Megatron. It's been so long since we've had Megatron be like Megatron. Even in IDW, there was a terrible attempt at trying to... Even in IDW 1, I should say, there was a terrible attempt to, quote, redeem Megatron, even given everything they... Even though they established him to be, like, the most evil Megatron ever in the earlier series, the writer's like, I'm just gonna make him a good guy. Because that's what's trending on Tumblr. But we see Megatron acting like Megatron, beating down Shockwave. I kind of look forward to this series once it gets the ball rolling, but we're in issue number 15 and the ball hasn't started rolling. I've seen people comment on all these issues, and it seems like for every issue since like since the issue where Rebel died, I feel like every issue has had someone say, and this is where it actually starts. And then you go to the next issue, and then someone says, and this is the issue where it actually starts. And then you get to the next issue, and someone says, this is the issue where it actually starts. There's a limit at how many times you can say, now we're getting somewhere, because when you've said that the previous 5 times, you still aren't getting anywhere. There is some flashback scenes about Megatron fighting in the War of the Threefold Spark. I think we get to see Exarchon a little bit. He seems to be like a multi-part being, like a hive mind almost. That was a little bit interesting to see that, but again, we really need that developed a bit more. Unlike G.I. Joe, where we can see that there are flashbacks coming in that will explain more, and how G.I. Joe is like answering every question that you have about this new universe issue by issue, Transformers just continues to ask questions, and then gives about 1/4 of the answer 5 issues later, and that is a bit problematic. But that's really all I have to say about Transformers number 13 through 15, the first 3 parts of Change in Your Nature. I hope this series gets better. But thank you guys so much for watching this review of these 3 issues. We'll get back to the issue by issue schedule when that happens. Transformers Galaxies, I'll catch up with that soon enough. That might even be the next video, come to think of it. But yeah, subscribe to this channel for more nerdy stuff. Check out the description for all my social media links, and consider supporting me on Patreon if you want to see this channel continue. And that's about all I have to say for this. I'm sorry that I don't really have anything too much to say about these issues, but, you know, it hasn't given me a lot to work with. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Huge thanks to our patrons, including this month's $10 plus patron, Josh Adkins. Check out the description for more patrons and more info about how you can receive a shout out here.
You tell me that my road is not